And we're live. And Fred gave the greeting of the day. Did you hear him or no?
I did hear him. Like,
Let me I want to make sure I got my mic on the right thing this time. Cause last time my mic didn't sound as okay, I just changed it. Okay, does it sound better?
yeah, you sound crystal clear right now.
See? Yeah, okay. See, I got my mic right here. So I guess welcome to the Vibe Political pop-up. And I guess I could talk about my day real quick or my week so far. It's been a great week. I woke up feeling amazing. I took the ACFT this week and I had a little bit left in the tank and I got a 522 out of 600. So 600 is the max score you can get. So I think I did pretty good for an old man. I'm 38 years old, still out there doing it big. And it's a very busy time with my job, traveling for work and that kind of thing, and doing a lot of surveys. Andre, how was your week? How's your week been so far?
Oh my gosh, Brandon, it has been incredibly busy. I feel like tomorrow, I'm really thankful that tomorrow's coming because my whole work week has been busy. I've been doing good nonetheless. I'm blessed and highly
Mhm.
favored. Hallelujah.
Amen.
But yeah, I've been good. Just work has been busy, and I see Thomas Weaver's on. Hey, Thomas.
Hey, Thomas.
Um, but yeah, it's just been a very busy work week. So I'm definitely ready for Friday to get here. I'm ready to
Hmm.
relax, and
Hmm.
yeah. So yeah, other than that,
Okay.
I'm good. I've been doing good.
Okay. Well, let's go on and get the show on the road. We'll be right back. Enjoyed the graphic. Thank you, Thomas, for joining. He said hello, guys. Just enjoying the talk. Um, So yeah, what we're gonna talk about this week on the pop up. If you're watching the show on pop ups, what we do is we just talk about things that are happening, maybe in the news or politics or whatever y'all want to talk about. We don't mind being controversial. We don't mind differing opinions. So if you want to give your perspective and it's different than ours, that's totally fine. This is a time where you can engage with us and interact with us. We even invite guests on the show. So if you wanted to come on and share something, about your week or give a testimony, hallelujah, of how everything's going with you, that would be great as well. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We like to engage with you, so feel free to interject at any moment in time, and we could put your comment up on the screen and discuss it. The first thing that I kind of wanted to discuss is I'm moving to New Zealand. Good God Almighty, like the way that New Zealand is taking care of their people, raising the minimum wage and raising the corporate tax rate, just the way that they're doing things, the way they handle the COVID-19 response. One person would get sick and they would shut everything down. But the difference is they would pay their people, you
Paid
know,
leave. They would get paid leave.
yeah, they would get paid leave. They would get a monthly allowance, at least don't quote me on it, but 85% or something like that of their income so that they can maintain their living. And so it's amazing to me how they don't have no cases. And guess what? Everybody ain't vaccinated either.
Well, they did what they were supposed to do as a country by social distancing, staying there
Yeah,
behind home. But you got to think the government was able to fund them, so they didn't lose any money in the process. So,
right.
although they didn't live normal for the first like 5 or 6 months, they
Yeah.
still did what they needed to do. They weren't partying. They weren't doing all the things that us as Americans were doing. They were following the rules, but the government was there to look out for these people too. I mean,
Yeah.
and that really helped significantly with why they're basically back to normal. New Zealand is living normal like there's no pandemic.
Right.
Australia is doing the same thing. I was looking, I have a TikTok account, and I was looking just through some TikTok videos, and a lot of people were ripping into Australians because Australians, they don't have a mask mandate. They are literally good to go. And they've been getting a lot of rude comments by Americans saying, we are in the middle of a pandemic. Where's your mask? And they all had to defend themselves and say, listen, we don't have any cases. There's no cases of COVID. We are COVID free over here in Australia. Like, do not come for me. Like, please don't.
Yeah.
So
and that's amazing. And I bet if we crunched all the numbers, right? If we got our calculators out and we did like Medea and we crunched all the numbers, I bet it costs more to handle things the way that America has handled it if we compare just the numbers. So yeah, we could look at, you know, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, even in the UK, they were given, I know the UK has a lot of cases, but I want to highlight the fact that the government gave the people assistance. So the difference was that they shut everything down, but they gave assistance. And I think if we looked at the way that America has handled it, it has probably cost the taxpayers a whole lot more money than if, you know, our government just paid, you know, the same way New Zealand did. If we followed their plan, our cases probably would look like their cases and our people would be taken care of, because it was actually reported, y'all can Google this, that most of the deaths from COVID actually happened because people don't have healthcare insurance either.
And you know, another thing that's profound for me with this whole New Zealand and Australia being really COVID free and all that is they're banning people from the United States from traveling to their country. Like, so they're really not welcoming anyone from the US into those countries. So, I mean, I like it, you know, because at the end of the day, they're trying to ensure that COVID is under control. So right now, I think they both of those countries still have banned United States citizens from flying in until us in the United States reach herd immunity with COVID-19, and we can all live and coexist together without having without people dying, and also without extreme illness and stuff like that. So yeah, I think New Zealand and Australia banned the US from, I think they still have the ban on to where, no, you can't come into their country. So
yeah, that's a lot. And it's just amazing. I think, you know, throughout this, I think it says a lot about a country, the way that they take care of their citizens. And I think, you know, as an American, I think it's very American to criticize our government and or simply say they just could do a better job, and sometimes demand that they do a better job. America exists as we know it because, you know, Europeans came over here and demanded things to be different. And we know all the other history, you know, we ain't got to go there. But my point is the foundational piece was they didn't want to pay all them taxes. But now look at how we're paying all these taxes and like, what are we truly getting from our government? Where's the representation for us? And until we, you know, I could put a nail in the coffin, as they say, until we undo things like Citizens United. It is my belief that we'll never have a politician who's going to represent you and I, Andre. And I don't mean you and I as Black men. I mean you and I as American citizens who are not part of the 1%ers. Because what I'm trying to say is Citizens United ensures that the politician who is in office is bought. Because once they get in office, it's about fundraising to win the next election. Every single one of them politicians. Now, I hope Nina Turner gets in there and turns it out in a different way and shows us what a real politician who's for the people should be like, because I'm very excited. So to take a positive turn on the political arena and conversation, if y'all don't know who Nina Turner is, please look into her. She is an amazing person. I think that it will be good to hear her voice, because it's my perception that the squad, where they at though? They tweet good.
Girl.
Go ahead.
I'm over here calling you girl on live, Lord.
Talk to him. Talk to him, Andre.
So, hey, Starsha. Starsha's on our first guest. But yeah, the squad, the squad at one point, I was like, okay, squad, y'all better, y'all are all minority women and all this stuff. Like, but now it's like, girl, where y'all at? What y'all doing?
Mm-hmm.
I think that AOC is primarily just trying to shine and just make Republicans look bad, which, on one hand, it's like, okay, I get it, but girl, what you're saying a lot, but what are you actually doing?
Yeah, like what's the plan? Where's the strategy? That's my thing.
I mean, this is gonna sound so bad that I'm saying this.
Okay.
Even with Raggedy Ted Cruz going to Mexico during the storm, and then AOC going out there and doing work that he was supposed to be doing, I feel like that was all for publicity. I feel like a little bit of it was from the heart, because I mean AOC came up with the idea of going out there to assist when the power was out in Texas. I think they went to Dallas or something, but I just feel like, girl, was that really done? I'm not saying that it wasn't AOC, if if she sees this. But I just feel like, was it really from the heart, or were you just trying to make yourself look good because Ted Cruz is a Republican? And I mean, Ted Cruz made himself look bad by going to Mexico, obviously. But did AOC do that from the depths of her heart? Or did she do it for just to look good?
Right.
And it made me think, I don't know why that came across my mind during that time, but it did cross my mind, like, girl, did you do that just to make yourself look good? Or did you say, oh, girl, okay, I'm really going to go out here and be there for the people?
I have an equivalent. I got an equivalent, kind of like the Republicans talking about the border crisis now.
Oh,
that's an equivalent, right? Like,
it is an equivalent.
Yeah, they're trying to say, oh, this is happening under the Biden administration. And I get it. It is happening. And it is a terrible thing. But it's like, y'all didn't care nothing about this when Trump was in office. What's up, Tashawn? How's it going?
Oh, you got some people coming on. Yeah, so
I see people in the comments. Do you see Tashawn's comments?
They didn't come on the Bible show. So I'm not gonna be able to see their comments, unfortunately.
Are you throwing shade? Well, guess what? They're here, and so
very glad you're here.
Look, I'll do this. Look, there you go.
I know Tashawn.
Starsha said, "Hey, boo."
Starsha went on.
Starsha, what about me? She said, "Hey, boo." She talking to you. What about me though?
Talking to me. I don't know. See? You recognize Brandon, Starsha. Recognize.
Acknowledge me. Hey, I got a question. Is anybody watching the Derek Chauvin trial?
Good question.
Let us know in the comments if you're watching the Derek Chauvin trial. My coworkers, they were like, "Thank you." Look, there you go. Thank you.
Oh, I saw something coming now. She probably left and then went back on the Bible. But now Tashawn don't know. He just needs to follow the page because Tashawn, I call him Nolan. But Nolan, I know Nolan from back in Carson. That's my boo right there.
Okay. Yeah. So if you're watching the Derek Chauvin trial, let me know. My coworker, civilian, was like, what'd she say? She was like, "You just trying to be angry while you're doing your work." But honestly, I'm watching it because all too often we already know and we expect how these things are going to go down. And I'm just watching it because I don't want to be surprised. And I want to be able to see, how they're gonna rule. I want to see it all played out because I feel like this is the Rodney King situation all over, except it was an actual death, it was actual murder. Starsha said she can't watch it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Starsha on that.
Mhm.
What I will say is that I am up to date on like clips because I do watch The View on ABC, and
Mhm.
they play clips. And I did see what I was impressed with. What I'll say as a good thing is that the police chief called him out on
Yeah.
on that. Starsha says that's why I'm not watching because he's clearly guilty and he won't be charged.
Mm.
I mean, we just have to wait and see. I mean, I agree with you, Starsha. I don't think he will, but I mean, you just never know. I mean, I'm leaning on what you're saying, Starsha, but I mean, I my hope is that he is convicted and charged,
Yeah.
just more so because um, let's see if I can articulate this right. I hope that it is because this could be the first step to police reform.
Yeah, and I think, I wonder though, is it really that we need police reform? I had me and my coworker, we were going at it. The same person who said, she was like, you just want to be mad at work. We were kind of going at it because she said, I couldn't land on an idea if the officers, I feel like all three of the officers should be there. Now I get it, he's the most senior officer and trainer. However, I think certain things you can't train. Like, what human being with a conscience would think that that was okay? And I said this before, I say it again. I really feel like it was a satanic killing to me. That's my perception about it,
He had
because
such a
they were,
blank face. He had such a blank face expression the
yes,
entire 9 minutes and 29 seconds, because that's
yes,
how long.
yes,
Just blank. Just like his soul was gone. It was like it wasn't
yes.
even Derek. It wasn't
But it
even.
wasn't. But it wasn't just him. Even the officer Tao or Chow, the guy who was in front of him, he said, "Don't do drugs," as
Mhm.
if first of all, how do you know this person is on drugs? You don't. But it was just very, like, they were in contact with his body when he took his last breath. But I think, just as with politics, we're not going to get a politician to represent us until they undo Citizens United. Qualified immunity, I'm not sure what the state laws are in Minneapolis, but qualified immunity is what makes it very hard to prosecute police. And police unions like have more power than anyone. The police unions have the power to investigate themselves and clear themselves of doing any wrong. So, but I do think it's interesting that the chief of police, the use of force experts, and then they had like a scientist, some kind of breathing. I forget. I don't know what he's called, but I like listening. He was interesting to listen to because he had a great accent. But he was talking about all the dynamics of breathing and how he was trying to breathe, and on his left, the trunk of the left side of his trunk, it was the pressure of the street and also Officer Chauvin on him that like basically suffocated him to death.
Yeah,
And so,
he couldn't breathe. Yeah, from every way. I what I was gonna say, it just slipped my mind what I was gonna say because I was gonna say something about the trial, but it
Mhm.
slipped my mind. But I guess my question to you, Brandon, is or just to get your perspective,
Mhm.
um, the how do you feel about the rawness of the individuals that witnessed? Do you think that that's going to have a little bit to do with kind of like what turns out happening to Derek Chauvin? Because I guess for me, I was captivated by how those um, bystanders were
Mhm.
expressing themselves during that
Yes.
time. And for me, I'm just thinking like, man, the jury has, I understand that the jury, is there to look at the facts. And, I've been hearing a whole lot of people say, oh, well,
Mhm.
it's right there. You can see it. It's right there. But
Mhm.
like a part of me kind of is like, well, dang, like, as a person that's on the jury, like,
Mhm.
do you have a heart? Do you have a soul? Like, to see, like, this is, I mean, and I'll say this, even there are some Republicans that are even saying, and there are I'm talking about hardcore Republicans, Blue Lives Matter, that said that he should be convicted. So I feel like it's a human thing, not just because you sit politically somewhere. Like, oh, okay, well, all Republicans think that he should be free. No, it's not the case. Right. Just look at this person. I mean, it's terrible because he is Black, but from a human standpoint, like, you can literally see that this person's life got taken and it didn't have to. And to even find out, because I didn't know about this, was that what he got handcuffed for wasn't even a arrestable offense. So what he got arrested for and handcuffed for, he didn't have to go to jail for. He could have been fined. So I thought that was interesting too, because I realized that as well when I was watching the take back from The View. I was like, oh, so he didn't even need to be handcuffed either. So it's just, it's like things are coming out now, and it's like, oh. So maybe all this exposure that Derek is getting, it may actually surprise all of us, and he could get convicted. And maybe I'm just saying it because I want him to be convicted, but I'm just saying all these things that are coming out that you would think, because he's white, let's be real, that it would be covered up, or it wouldn't be talked about, or it would be avoided. So now, but me hearing more and more truths coming out, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I think, well, let's set the tone, because going all the way back, you can find the clip. It was on Facebook on a page called Black Detour, and there was a clip of Oprah. I miss old Oprah. I miss Bout It Oprah, who used to go to the thick of it and bring people together to have the conversation. And yeah, emotions ran high, but like, who's doing that these days? Who's going to where the people are and allowing them to, air their grievances? And so, they were talking about the Rodney King case, and there was a younger white woman, a younger white lady. She was probably a teenager, who was, or actually probably early 20s, because she talked about graduating from college. And she basically was like, we don't know. And y'all may or may not be familiar with the Rodney King case, but she was like, we don't know what happened 60 seconds prior to the video that the media showed. And to me, what's interesting though, look at Fred, y'all.
Fred, and it looked like that boob right by you over there.
So it's interesting that, like, looking at these cases, doesn't that always seem to be the case? Oh, you don't know what happened outside the video. But it's just like over and over again, when I think about what happened inside the video, I'm like, would what happened before that make it not a murder? From Ahmaud Arbery, Sandra Bland, every Eric Garner, all these cases, it's been so many. So I understand why Starsha doesn't want to watch it and why she thinks he won't be charged. There's a piece of me that thinks that he won't be charged too. I just don't want to be surprised by it. I want to see all the testimony that was given, because what I think is interesting, and I'd be getting a kick out of, none of the witnesses like the defense. Baby, and everybody said there was no reason why they should not have rendered aid. Like, as soldiers, Andre, we get trained in first aid, don't we? Police officers, the same thing. At a minimum, they could have did chest compressions and try to resuscitate.
The minimum.
Well, first of all, and let's face it, if we're looking at the situation correctly, it never should have went that far anyway. But the moment in which he became unresponsive, that's when you're supposed to save his life. We are, as soldiers, we do that in combat. You're supposed to resuscitate the person. If you're no longer under the threat of violence or the threat of losing your life, and you come across an enemy combatant, you're supposed to save that person. But in America, so to me, if he's not charged, I'm sorry I just started yelling, but I felt it. Woo. If he doesn't get charged, to me, I don't want to hear nobody say that the 3/5 clause is still not in effect.
Ooh.
That we ain't 3/5, that we are 3/5 of a person. Like, look at, the Georgia voting thing too, right? Voter suppression. We 3/5 of a person. They trying to say your vote don't count. We trying to suppress your vote because we have the power to determine who's going to win elections.
So, and another thing that I, wanted to capture with the whole like, what did he do before? But there was some footage of stuff he did before. There was. He wasn't resisting arrest. He wasn't cussing at the officers.
Right.
I saw him just accept that handcuff and be like, okay, well, I'm going to jail. So, like the whole like putting him on the ground and all that. I didn't see any resistance to arrest. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
And nothing he asked for was unreasonable. Nothing. But he was a big black man.
6'4", 6'5", or something like that. He's real tall. Yeah.
And they was afraid of him, but so afraid of him. Y'all got guns, pepper spray, tasers, and y'all afraid. But even when he was on the ground, like, I mean, that
was his mama. I mean, just the small clips I saw, just the calling on his mother towards the end. I mean, there was a lot. It was a very
yes.
Yeah, it was just something else.
Yeah, and it's interesting that the defense is basically trying to make it seem like the unruly crowd made the officers nervous, and that they were distracted.
Unruly. Where?
And that the crowd was threatening the police officers. What I found interesting too is like when you look at the video, the medics don't even try to resuscitate him right there. They was like they came, they checked the pulse with Derek Chauvin's knee still on his neck, and then when he came back with a stretcher, he had to be like, get your knee off of him
because
then he had to support the head. Remember?
Yes, he could have been saved if the medics would have said, okay, get off his neck. I think that they could have revived him. I think within that like 7 to 9 minute part where because I think the paramedics arrived around I don't know when they arrived, but either way, I think that if they arrived in that reasonable time, they could have probably tried to revive him. But how do you check a pulse with the police officer still got the foot on the neck or the knee on the knee, not the foot, the knee?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And applying pressure, and he just looking. I think he had his hands in his pocket too. Like, yep, got my hand on.
Yeah, as if he's adjusting, as if he's like pushing his knee to make like more pressure on it. Yeah, that man is a devil. I'm sorry, only a devil could do that. That man is a devil, and I'm not old school. I'm not saying white devil. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that man is a devil based on his own actions and what he did, irregardless. That's not a word. Irrespective of his or regardless of his race. I'm not saying he's a white devil. I'm saying he is a devil, and only a devil could do something like that. So, I mean, humans don't even do that to a dog. I bet he wouldn't do it to a dog.
He probably a dog and would not even think about doing it to his dog.
So it just feel like they out here killing us for sport. Like it's a sport. Like getting away with it.
Let's talk about this. I'm not trying to move on from it, but I do want to.
We can because it's deep. It's thick.
It's deep, and I don't. So I told you this today, Brandon, that I saw okay, so I'll tell all y'all.
Okay.
So I saw, and I talked to Brandon about it. I texted him, I think, and I was in the shop getting my lunch, So I saw this, decently attractive black man walk in, and he was not in. He wasn't in like police uniform or whatever, but he had on a Blue Lives Matter mask. And I text Brandon and I said, it really gets under my skin when I see a black man wear a Blue Lives Matter mask. It didn't sit well with me. And I did the eye roll emoji or whatever.
Yeah.
But it just bothered me.
So tell me, so what were you? I mean, like, what did you feel? Like, what were your feelings about?
I felt like he was a dummy. I felt like he. I don't think he realizes. I think he knows what Blue Lives Matter is, but doesn't really know the roots of how it's interpreted to everyone else. So I call him a dummy. I feel like he. He's a dummy. I just felt like he was a dummy. I felt a little bit sorry for him that he was walking around in that because I felt like I felt like in that moment that he was not caring about his own life. But anyway, that's what I felt.
Based on what?
Based on the fact that he held on a Blue Lives Matter mask. It's like you're supporting something that doesn't really look out for you. Even though you may be a part of that institution yourself. Because he could have been a cop. Oh, Colin said, oh. Well, yeah. So when I see a Black person with a Blue Lives Matter mask, it's like, now I know there are Black cops out there, yes. But yeah, when I saw him with the mask on, it's like, okay, you're done.
So would you relate him? Okay, well that makes me want to talk about Hubert Davis and his comments in being the first Black UNC head coach, who said he's proud his wife is white.
Oh my God, stop it. I forgot about that.
See, and he said, I quote, "I know that it's significant," because he's, the first Black coach of UNC. He said, "I know that it is significant," Davis continued. "I know that it is significant that I'm the fourth African-American head coach in any sport in the history of the University of North Carolina. I'm very proud to be African-American, but I'm also very proud that my wife is white. And I'm also proud that my 3 very beautiful, unbelievable kids are a combination of both of us." And, Twitter went in. Somebody said, "Yeah, that last part was so unnecessary, and I hope he sees it and recognizes it." One fan wrote. Others called the comment awkward. What do you think about those comments? And I could share. Like,
wait, Brian.
Oh, go ahead.
You were supposed to tell me how you felt about when I told you that man had on a Blue Lives Matter mask.
So, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So somebody, Blue Lives Matter. What's interesting to me about Lives Matter, right, is all of these came up to
Colin said it. Colin said people didn't start saying, he said, "Oh, it was a typo." But he said people didn't start saying Blue Lives Matter until we started screaming Black Lives Matter.
Right. Or any lives matter.
Or any lives, yeah.
Yeah. People started saying all lives matter when we started saying Black lives. And I think that Andre, you know how I feel about everything. I am probably a Black militant. Like, I love Malcolm X, and I feel like he was the hardest advocate for our people throughout the history of this country, regardless of his issues, his faith. And we see him go from somebody who fit the stereotype to somebody who was educated, to somebody who was who had a spiritual experience, to someone who talked to leaders of the world. And if he would have been able to live out his days, then I'm sure we would have lasting organizations, because he was setting it up. And I think that's why he had to be taken out. I think he was even more of a threat than Martin Luther King Jr. So I agree wholeheartedly with Colin, and that these other movements were made to be antagonistic towards Black Lives Matter. And it's interesting that people get very ornery, people get angry. They say, no, all lives matter, as if saying, when you say Black lives, like, what is it, if you care about Black lives, that means that you don't care about other ones? It's almost like our nation is so freaking racist that when you highlight the racism, you're the racist for highlighting your experience. Andre, we talk about how we experience prejudice or discrimination. We're the racist ones because we're bringing up our race, rather than, and I think what has happened is Jane Elliott, she said, if you're white and you were born in America and you were educated in America, it's a miracle if you're not racist. And I know, and Jane Elliott is a white woman. And I think what has happened to the definition of racism is it's been like sort of ignited. Like, racism today is somebody coming up, spitting your face, calling you the N-word. That's what the societal norm, or that's what they want to say racism is. But that's not racism. Racism is at the bank when you go cash a check. Racism is driving while Black. Racism is the new Jim Crow, these voter laws in Georgia. racism is our every institution. Name an institution that's not, infested with the disease of racism. Name one.
You just spoke about overt racism, but that covert racism be sitting.
That's
that
what. Yeah.
racism is what is not discussed or not pointed out. I used to have this term where I would say racially insensitive. No, you just covert racist. That is, racially insensitive. I don't know. Colin says they see Black Lives Matter as us saying that we are the only lives that matter, and they fail to realize that centuries of us not mattering has been evident.
Amen.
Thank you, Colin. That was,
and it is, you know what, and to add to that, I think it is my personal belief that until America as a nation does right by our people, it's not going to go well for nobody else. That schism, that ism of sin is just going to keep growing and growing and growing. And we see it now, right? It's third world conditions in Kentucky. It's third world conditions in West Virginia. The UN came over here to investigate poverty. China is laughing at us like, okay, you trying to talk about us and the Uyghur Muslims. Look at the way that y'all treat your Black citizens over there. Boop.
I'm just saying. Yes, Colin. I know.
So yeah, like I think that and it's amazing to me how pro-Black talk is threatening in America. Like,
and why would it be?
Yeah. Why? Because you want to do for self. But it's interesting that over in Israel, with Israel and the Palestinians, it's kind of the same thing. Like the Israelis do not want, the Israeli government, let me be more specific, does not want to recognize Palestinians as human beings and recognize that they have the right to self-determination. It feels like that's what's happening here, that we don't have the right to self-determination.
And you know what? Let's talk about Chet Hanks. I'm sorry, I got to talk about Chet Hanks. That's Tom.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I got to talk about it.
Talk about White Boy Summer?
Yes. Honey, when I tell you, I said, Chet, sweetie, you may have had good intentions on saying, I'm not talking about white boy Trump summer or white boy Republicans or whatever. I'm talking about like me and John B. That's what he said. Kind of summer. So, it's laughable to me because, honey, every summer is a white boy summer, honey. Y'all don't need a title for the summer, honey. And you know what made them look even more dumb is that even Megan Thee Stallion, who released a song, she didn't call it Black Girl Summer. What did she call it? Hot Girl Summer. And what does Hot Girl Summer mean? All girls that are hot. So for you to come back and say, well, you know what, 2021, white boy summer. How come you couldn't call it hot boy summer and make it inclusive? Since you're not racist, Chet Hanks, since you're not racist and since you all about the people,
you
need to have a hot boy summer. Since the girls had a hot girl summer last year or 2019, since y'all want to have a hot girl summer in we're going to have a hot boy summer. Because guess what? You saying hot boy summer, I would have felt included because I feel like I'm a little bit hot. So,
hey.
Okay. So,
look, Andre, look.
I'm just saying, like, it just blew my mind. I call it covert racism right there, where you are literally saying, oh, yeah, it's going to be a white boy summer. It's not. You act like you ain't never had a white boy summer before. It's always happening. So for me, I'm like, yeah, very, 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 very terrible of you to say. You could have called it a hot boy summer, not no white boy summer. What about the rest of the boys that are not white? You just excluded all of us, honey. All of us. So no, Chet Hanks, you can go have several seats. And I know Tom Hanks is probably shaking his head like that's not Lord. He probably don't even want to claim his son child. I can't even.
Hey, like there's a dude on YouTube, I think, what's it, Pockets of the Future, some channel like that. And he was like, he said Tom Hanks put all his effort into his first son and let the second one just
Be like, eh.
Mm-hmm. It's funny how he don't.
It may have been an oops baby. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting how he don't even look like Tom Hanks at all.
No, the other one too. But
yeah, I just think he's the result of having a bunch of money and nothing to do. And did you hear him doing all the accents and stuff? The Caribbean accents.
I didn't want to get into that. I do not.
He just got a whole bunch of money and nothing to do.
Shout out to Raising Cane's.
Oh. Hey, they need to pay us some coins for promoting.
Hey, should we sponsoring over here? Give me my coin.
I'm excited because I'm not excited where I'm going. I'm going to Fort Hood next week, y'all. So pray for me, pray my strength in the Lord, pray my protection while I'm in Fort Hood. But there is a raise. I picked a hotel near Raising Cane's just because Andre goes there all the time and he tells me it's delicious. And guess where there's a Cane's or Raising Cane's. Guess where one is?
Where?
There's a couple in Hawaii. And my mom said they always packed. And my niece and nephew love going there.
Brandon, I mean, you're gonna get your life. I just wish I can go with you because I want your experience.
Yeah.
But
does anybody else hey, get involved in the comments? Let me know. Does anybody else when you eat some good food, do you just feel like a dance? Do you just hit it like a two-step or do a little dance at the table?
Something.
Yeah, something. I do. I'm like, dang, this is good. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to talk about Chet Hanks because I was just like, I can't.
Yeah.
He just needs to go sit down.
Definitely. Oh, what about DMX? Do you know how DMX is doing?
So there's been reports that because there was 3 articles that came out. So one was that he was rushed to the hospital because he did have a heart attack overdosing on drugs. Then another article came out, shout out to B. Scott, where there was false reporting that he was taken off life support and was doing better. So that was a lie. Then the other report saying no, he is still in a vegetative state and he is on life support, and the mother and the sister are the only 2 allowed back there to see him and kind of be there with him in person. So DMX is still not in good shape since his heart attack on the 2nd, because he had a heart attack on the 2nd of April. And this was while I was in Cincinnati enjoying myself, and I was like, oh my God, DMX had a heart attack because he overdosed. So this is so unfortunate. But Brandon and I have had our talks about DMX. He gave me a revelation on some things about him that I did not know about. So
yeah. Look, Colin said every time. So he does a little dance every time, especially when I cook and taste it.
Yes. Oh, Colin says so sad to hear about DMX. Yeah, it is. It is quite sad. Yeah, I know. That's how I know Colin. Yeah, Colin loves some food. Me and Colin would have a good old time eating together. Long time ago, though, years ago.
Yeah. So back to DMX. I think it was interesting. I am a person who's constantly evolving. I'm a deeply spiritual person, and sometimes Andre can't keep up. Because sometimes I think that if I wasn't in this body, I would just fly away. But I'm a lyrics person. I love words. And it's crazy how even the brain remembers music. So even people who have Alzheimer's and diseases where their brain activity goes down, they can still connect through song, and they connect memories through song. And so I have all these lyrics in my head of hip hop. I loved hip hop. I used to listen to DMX since the beginning. And I just shared some of the lyrics with Andre, and some of his lyrics are very foul, just very debased. And ultimately I would say satanic. But what is also interesting is, he said he sold his soul to the devil and the price was cheap. It's cold at this level, but it's twice as deep. like he said, like those are his, see how the lyrics just, it's amazing how the lyrics are just there. But what's interesting is on every album, he also included a prayer. And just last year, he was talking about having a relationship with the Most High, not just going to a building, but actually praying and inviting him in. And multiple people have said that, you know, DMX just, all he does is quote the Bible. And he has a verse tattooed right here, Exodus, I forget which book and chapter, book and verse or chapter and verse. But when I heard the news, I really, instead of being sad for him, I'm not saying I'm not sad that the situation happened. And I do understand the story that his friend basically got him hooked on drugs and gave him something, weed that was laced with it. But it was interesting. I didn't necessarily feel sorry for him, but what I did feel was like, I know that DMX knows how to pray. If y'all ever heard this man pray, he could pray. And so what my prayer was, is that he just call on the name that he knows, you know, to call on. Because even in the vegetative state, you know, hey, you're still alive. Your spirit is still alive. Your spirit is still in the body, and you can reach the Most High. That's just how I believe. And so to hear that he's still alive, and you know, I'm just praying that he gets it together. But I also prayed too, because some of these people are trapped in a satanic industry. And what's interesting to me is if we look at the 80s and the 90s, they talked about all this stuff. In the 80s and the 90s, like Black people were allowed to be spiritual. If you looked at all the award shows back in the day, Black people were spiritual. We brought church to every Grammy, every BET Awards, Soul Train Awards. Like they look totally different than they look today. Today, what happened today, what's on these shows would not be there. Today is very debased. And so I think it's very interesting in the 80s and 90s, it was called a satanic panic or whatever. But the things that people did, they said it. Because to me, that's why I say, Derek, you know, going all the way back to the George Floyd murder, Derek Chauvin is a devil. Only a devil could do that. And the fact that those 3 officers were in contact with his body when he died. Do y'all know what that means? Do y'all know that when you're in contact with something and it dies, that like energy, like the energy transfer or the adrenaline rush, you know, when they shoot somebody or shoot a deer, if you know people who have went hunting and all that stuff. So I think it's just, you know, very interesting the times that we're living in. And I feel like we should be very matter of fact when we can be.
Right.
So I'm glad, and so my solace was in the fact that DMX knows who to call on.
Yeah, and that was the end result of the conversation I had with Brandon, is that, you know, he does know who the Most High is, and I pray that he calls his name and realizes, you know, because you can repent until the very last breath. Amen. Yep. Because, honey, the lyrics you showed me, auntie, I was like, oh, okay, you was doing a lot. Yeah. But a lot of people ignore that, and this is and I'm not blaming it on anybody that's a fan of DMX, but a lot of people will either not see it, or if they knew it, they ignore it, or they move on from it. But words have meaning, you know. That's that whole term that people have, like, when it comes to words have meaning, and words have a lot of power too. They do. Two things. Two things come to my mind. The scripture that says the power of life and death is in the tongue. Well, another one, as a man thinketh, so is he. Let your conversation be full of salt, not salty, but let it be full of salt, so you can know how to answer, seasoned with salt, so you can know how to answer everyone. You know, like we can control how we respond to situations. And I think, you know, we be laughing about Michelle Obama, because like when she said, when they go low, we go high. Like, I don't like that statement, because I don't think we should need to go high every time. Sometimes when they go low, we need to tell them, hey, we need to let them fall. When they go low, let them fall. Like when they go low, call them out. Like, there's a way to do it though. And like I say all the time, I still got stratagem on my board back there, and I'm always praying about strategy. Like, what should my strategy be?
You know, if I'm not getting along with somebody, when I'm reevaluating my relationships, what should my strategy be? When I'm praying for somebody or feeling something for somebody, like even with DMX, I did some searching because I seen these posts and stuff where people were like, "Don't judge him. We all got our demons," but we all judge. It's not for us to condemn because we can't put nobody in heaven or hell, but we do all judge. And so, and even the scripture says to judge others with the same measure that you want to be judged. So in my judgment, there's full of grace and mercy and a specific prayer, because words have power, right? So I'm gonna give that specific prayer, to uplift and edify, and pray that he be uplifted and edified.
And that's what you said, and that's what we both agree on, is that, when it comes to praying, and Brandon, you said this, I'm not going to, I'm paraphrasing what we talked about and what you said, but you're like, yeah, people be praying, but like, girl, you need to make sure that whatever you're praying for, there's some action behind that prayer. And I said this, faith without works is dead.
Yeah, that's
what if you're going to pray. And what is your strategy to move forward through that? And I just feel that that's powerful. A lot of people just say, "Oh, pray, God will handle it." Well, girl, if you're saying pray to God and God will handle it, well, girl, what are you doing about it?
Yeah. Yep. That's deep. Without even trying to be deep.
I wasn't even trying to be deep there. I was just saying, like, girl, leave it to God, child. Just pray to God. God gonna take care of it. Huh. All right. So
yeah.
How is he gonna take care of it? Are you actively trying to figure out a way for God to guide you to make your way through that situation?
See?
Because that's what he's there for. I'll be like, oh, God's got it. Because there's gospel songs that say God's got it. Okay. He do. He do? Are you sure? He do?
I remember this one time, Glenn actually told me this story.
Oh.
He said that, that song, Let Go and Let God? He said there was a situation that somebody was in, and they were like, the song said, let go and let God, so I let it go. Like, but this was in reference to their child. Like, let go and let God, so you let it go. Like, I think, and you know how we feel about the more and more the days pass, I feel some type of way about institutional religion. I feel some type of way about our churches. I feel some type of way about Black churches. And it's like, they're there to pacify you, and they're there to make you passive in the pew. And they generate, like, the whole idea of, because I tithe, I'm going to be blessed, because I do that, because I go to church. But you ain't, if you're not praying about what the Most High strategy is for your life, then how is he pleased with you? If you're not offering what he asked you to offer, like Cain and Abel, Cain killed his brother because Abel's offering was accepted, but Cain's wasn't. But Cain knew what he should offer up, but he said, "No, I'm gonna offer what I want to offer." Just like some people go to church and they're like, "You know what? I give my money and I'm good. I should be good." But the Most High might be telling you to do something else with your money or your time, and may not be pleased with what you're doing.
I want to read Colin's comment. Oh, see what saying? Look at this. Sometimes people want things to happen right now when God is saying not now. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
And I think too that we never know what the Most High is sparing us from. And like maybe there's been a few times in my life, where I can look back on something and be like, oh, you know what? Like that, if that would have happened when I wanted it to, maybe I would have got stuck in pride. Like, okay, I'll tell the first example that comes to my head is being a staff sergeant in the Army for 12 years. When my parents raised me to have a spirit of excellence in everything I do. And I can hear that like a beat, like I can hear that like a rap lyric, like in everything you do. And even to this day, when I tell my mom about what's going on with my job or whatever, she reminds me, Brandon, you're not working for them, you work for the Most High. And so, do that scripture, do everything as unto the Lord. And so here I am working in a spirit of excellence, but I'm being looked over for promotion every time. And I was praying, right? Like, God, I want to be promoted. You know, I need to be promoted. I should be promoted. Like, I'm doing this job, I'm doing my thing. And you know, and I kept praying to his Ruach, and his Ruach would speak to me. That's Hebrew for spirit. Ruach HaKodesh is Holy Spirit in Hebrew. And he would say, but what do you need though? Okay, you want to be promoted, but what do you need? And it's amazing because you know how you be praying for something and then the Most High speak to you and you're like, you don't want to answer. You know, when somebody asks you something, you don't want to answer because you don't want them to be right. But then I was just like, nothing. And so when the idea would pop in my head again, like I want to be promoted, and I would start finishing it myself. So when that would pop in my head, like I should be promoted, I'd be like, but what do I need? And so that became my confession. But what do I need? Like, okay, I want this, but what do I need? Because, you know, there's people out there. And I think what was produced within me during that time was the fact that I have all the power that I need just where I am. Mm-hmm. It's not like I'm going to be, because people say, oh, when I get to this rank, I'm going to be this way. But what the Most High showed me, nah, do it now. Don't be no punk. Do it now. Like you got the power right now, you know?
Yeah. So, and you know, what's so profound about what you're talking about, and I mean, me and you have talked offline numerous times about this, but I just, you know, from the outside looking in on you in your military career, when you told me you had 12 years as a staff sergeant, I'm like, my God, 12, that is over a decade of being one rank. So the human, the human, the flesh side of you was like, okay, Lord, hold on now. After year number 5, you're like, okay, is a homeboy promoted in these streets? Like, what's going on? Yeah. But that's the human side of you. That's just you being like Brandon, not being Prophet Allen or nothing like that. You are literally just being Brandon, like, Lord, what's going on? Like, I'm on, and I ain't even getting promoted. So I think it's just so powerful because you were able to really recognize, like, okay, it's just not my time, and it doesn't matter because I'm still valuable in the rank that I am. That's so powerful, and I hope that you all are encouraged by what Brandon just said, because that whatever you may be going through in your life where you may feel like you're stagnant, you may be stagnant there for a reason, for something bigger on the other side.
Yeah.
That's really the message behind Brandon's story of being a staff sergeant for well over a decade. Like, my Lord.
Yeah. And you know what I should add into that? Like the piece, the struggle came in because I'm where I'm supposed to be. Like it was prophesied to me in the 8th grade. This prophet came to town, picked me up, like pick me out the crowd and say, you. And you know how you always be like,
right.
They're like, no, you. Yeah. So I lean with it, rock with it, lean with it.
Right. I thought about Remy Ma, lean back.
Yeah, lean back. Yeah. So
I don't know who sung Lean Back. No, it wasn't Remy. It wasn't Remy Ma. It was somebody.
Fat Joe. Yeah, I think Remy Ma might have been on the remix. But
she was on the remix, yeah.
But yeah, like so you know, I was doing what the Most High told me to do. I'm in the Army because he told me to be in the Army, and I confirmed that. Like I prayed about it, and I've been in since July 11, 2000 is when I left home for the Army, straight out of high school.
You don't even look like you're about to have 21 years in the military. That is, I mean, you look like
I made it. Yeah, I made it through. Don't ask, don't tell. You know what I'm saying? You did too.
I did too.
But yeah, so when you're doing everything you're supposed to do and you're getting all of this, you know, resistance to you because of maybe discrimination or whatever, it's kind of it becomes a little bit hard. And then, you know, you do your self check, like, is it me? Am I the issue? And I just knew that, you know what, I saw that the Most High put me in a respect-based, pride-based organization and stripped me of all the unhealthy pride. If I would have got promoted like bam, 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 maybe I would be a different person. Maybe I would be more prideful, or I would think, look at me, look what I did. But I know he put me in a position to where it was like, when I get this promotion, he was like, I'm gonna let you know that it was me and me alone. It wasn't your evals. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying, your great works. It wasn't nothing. But what was said with that is you can participate with me though. That's what people don't realize. Like, we partner with the Most High. If the Most High is going to work in this earth, who's he going to work in? Who's he going to work through? You.
I mean, and you know, I'm over here I'm over here tripping like, shoot, I thought I was a staff sergeant forever. I was like, I had 6 years as a staff sergeant. You over here talking about a whole double. You doubled me. So, you know, and even for me, and not to make it about me, but I was like, okay, Lord, like, am I getting promoted? But I think the deeper message, as well as with going on with what you said, is that it's not our time until it's God's time.
Yeah.
It's not on the time that when we expect to get promoted.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. For me, when I made Song First Class, when I got selected for Song First Class, that was the year I wasn't expecting. Like, I'm not saying I gave up on like bumping. I didn't give up, but I wasn't looking for promotion. So the moment I just was like, you know what, it ain't happening for another couple years, whatever. Just I'm just gonna keep living. And then that was the time I got picked up. So, and I'm not saying that goes for everybody, because, you know, depending on where you're at, who you know, I mean, we all know how that goes, who you know, and all that stuff. But it is your time when it's in God's time. That's when.
Yeah. And I think, you know what? And I think for to add to that too, like, you still did a good job. You still did what was honorable to yourself. You know, I think when people say no, I think when people say know thyself, that's what I interpret that to mean. Like, still be honorable. Like, if you're a good person, you should be a good person. If you're a generous person, you should be a generous person. If you maintain a spirit of excellence in everything you do at work, just because you're not in a position you want to be in, you should still do that, because the Most High is going to reward you for your actions. I know that for a fact. You know what I'm saying? He's going to reward you, and it may not come when you want it. It may not come how you think it's going to come. But guess what? If, like, when we dream about the Vibe Show, if it takes us 10 years to blow overnight, and then like we're going on tour and we bring some of y'all with us, and, you know, like, we have a whole crew and we can hire some of y'all, and like, if it takes 10 years to build that, would that not be worth it?
I want to give a special shout out to Tabitha Brown. So I don't know if y'all know who Tabitha Brown is. She's the one that did the whole, she went viral off of a video of love. This was during the pandemic. Look up Tabitha Brown, Black woman. She just won an NAACP award for best social media personality.
Okay.
But shout out to Tabitha Brown. She came from not being known at all. No one knew who she was, but she had one video she posted on Instagram and it blew up all over the internet. And since then, now Tabitha has like 3.5 million followers, and now she's about to be on a TV show. So, and she has like a locked in role. So it's not like a guest. She has a role on a TV show. So, when I look at people like Tabitha Brown, and I see that, where it's like, it was Tabitha actually wanted it way early in her life. Tabitha just turned 42 years old. So Tabitha is like, at 41 is when she blew up. She wanted to blow up at 21.
Yeah.
But she wasn't in the space time in her life, and it just wasn't God's timing for her to be well known. And she reflects back on that and said, like, yeah, I know what I wanted back then, but that wasn't the time for me to get it, because I probably wouldn't have been responsible with it or none. I just would have been a man. But now well, she's a social media celebrity, but yeah, she's well known in that regard. And now she's getting the things that she's been dreaming about. But at 42 years old. So like Brandon said, like, shoot, we may be in our mid to late 40s by the time, you know, we blow up. I mean, I'm saying as if we are going to blow up. But yeah, it may be, you know, well after we retire. It may be after we are out the military, where we have a lot more time to invest into the show. But, you know, we're making time. That's why we're on this pop-up now. But yeah, you know, we have a very good following now. All I see is it going up. And, you know, we're excited. But yeah, it doesn't matter the time. It's when it's God's time.
Yeah, I agree. And thank you for everyone who's supporting us, everyone who's liked the page, everyone who's following us, everyone who comments. We're just gonna keep doing our thing as the Most High leads us, and continue to uplift and edify. And that's like the whole basis of the show. And I wanted to, how people have like these mission statements and it's very long and just like here at this and we do this, and like you go to church and be like the mission statement, blah blah blah. Like we wanted to keep it short, sweet, and simple. Like we exist to uplift and edify the people. So even when we talk about hard things or deep things, our intent is to uplift and edify. And so bring the truth out, bring awareness out. At the same time, though, do it in a way that's loving and kind and inclusive. Amen.
Amen. And
yeah. So, is there anything else that y'all want us to talk about? Let us know in the comments. Is there anything else, Andre? What else can we talk about?
Don't have anything else because the main thing I wanted to talk about was what I experienced with the Blue Lives Matter individual.
Yeah.
And Chet Hanks, I had to get that off my chest because when he did that whole white boy summer, it just really got under my skin that he said that, because he just wasn't thinking about the rest of us. Because I may be trying to have a hot boy summer. Like, listen, okay. So, but yeah, I don't have anything else. But yeah, you all let us know what you want us to talk about. I mean, we can hang out for another 15 more minutes or so, or we can end it here. And there's some things I do want to put out at the end, at the very, very end. So yeah. So read that question, y'all. That's for y'all. What are y'all doing to take care of yourselves during the pandemic? That's a question we have for y'all. What about? Can y'all answer that? How are y'all handling yourselves? How are you handling not yourselves, but how are you handling things on at home or work during this pandemic? I can answer that question first, so I'll participate. Well, two-part. One is I'm making myself a priority. I give myself time. Well, during the I can't really say, well, we're in the pandemic still. So I'll say in current time, what I'm doing to take care of myself is to take a pause and enjoy alone time, and then value the close relationships that I have with the people that deserve to be in my life. And I cherish those relationships. And in that, I have also, with how I've been dealing with things myself, is removing people that don't deserve to be in my space and bringing people in that deserve to be in my space. And with the conversation that I've had with Brandon, I'm over here talking about a lot of stuff me and you be talking about.
I like it.
One thing that we talked about was it does not matter how long you've known a person. You can, I feel like I'm just as close to Brandon with only knowing him for a year and a couple months than I am with people that I've known for 5+ years. And that doesn't go for everybody that I've known for over 5 years. I'm just saying that it doesn't, the timelines of how long you've known people, we shouldn't have, even though we automatically, and I say we could automatically have higher expectations from people that we've known longer, you got to practice getting out of that mindset, because there are complete strangers that will have more respect for you than people that you've known for years. So for me, I've been on that journey of recognizing that with people that I have called friend and that have not been a good friend to me. And I'm saying, yeah, it does not matter how long you've known the person, that relationships can end just as quick as it started. And if it does last a long time, in years and years and years, and then something pops off, it's kind of like an eye-opening thing for you to say, yeah, I may have known you for these many years, but you can still be prone to acting out.
Yeah.
And exposing who you really are. So Starsha says, trying to do better when it comes to being with my family when I'm home. Keith got me together the other day. Oh. I love the honesty, Starsha. My goodness. That's very honest. And it's what I really appreciate about Starsha and Keith's relationship, since Starsha wanted to talk about it on live. What I
Ooh.
love about them. No, it's no.
Tone. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
What I love about their relationship is that I feel that they both check each other, but it's all out of love. So I'm glad and happy to hear that Starsha was able to take in what Keith was saying, because it was a way for there to be growth in that relationship, and for Starsha to hear him out, and she respected it. And look, now everybody's happy, you know. So, thank you for sharing that, Starsha. But yeah, what else? What else, y'all? What about you, Brandon? What are you doing to take care of yourself? I know one of them, and I can say what one of them is.
What's one of them?
Going to the gym.
Yes, I stay going to the gym. But I think just sharing, because Andre, you brought this out long ago. It's physical distancing, not social distancing. So being more intentional with the people that I communicate with, and communicating what I'm doing with people who can celebrate me. I think that's mad important. Like if you feel alone, like, for example, Shay helped me put up the Holocaust Days of Remembrance display. I said, send this to one of your friends to show them what you did today. Like, I think we should let people know what we're doing so they can celebrate us and we can celebrate them. And, I think it's an exchange. So I make sure I get my rest in. I take my vitamins, get my vegetables in. I was eating out a lot, and I just looked at my credit card bill. I pay them off every month, but I'm like, dang. So I started doing HelloFresh, and I think I have one free box left. So whoever puts their email in the chat first, or you can send me a private message. I can send you a free HelloFresh box. Andre, I sent you one. Remember? Did you get it yet?
I didn't.
What are you waiting on?
You said I got to put my email where now?
I gave it to you. I sent it to you, didn't I? Ooh, well, maybe you get the free box then, if you want it.
Okay, I can take it.
So I started cooking at home more, which is a lot more healthy. And I'm always trying to do something new. And I always try to ride off the steam that I gained. For example, I did very well on the ACFT. So I'm like, let me wake up and run in the morning. So I got up and
you are so the opposite of me. Listen, you said okay, Brandon showed out. I ain't gonna say your score and everything, but
yeah, I did. Well, I already said it earlier.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah. So Brandon's showing out during ACFTs and stuff, which is the new PT test. I'm over here like, I'm glad I passed the Joker. And Brandon motivated himself the day after the ACFT to go run, which, I mean, I commend it. I give him a hard time, but I'm proud. And he motivates me to be like, okay, let me get my behind up and even go to this. So
and Andre would be like, Brandon, you ain't eating enough. You got to eat. You got to eat.
So much, because I'm like, he works out so hard, and it's like, go eat some food too, though, or protein shake. As long as you have something in your system, he'll forget to eat. Brandon be forgetting.
Then I'd be tired, wondering why am I tired? Like
you ain't no food, right? Yeah. So
that's some of the things that hey, take your if anything, you know what? If anything, if you're not gonna take multivitamins, if anything, please take your vitamin D, and please get out there in the sun. There's a such thing as sun water, which is interesting because remember when we grew up, what all of our aunties and grandmas have? Sun tea. Get you some sun tea. No matter what, if you don't take no vitamins, please do some research into taking vitamin D, because vitamin D will help your immune system stay alive, and it does so many things. It does so many things.
Me on it. I got the immune system vitamin D. It's like the chewables or whatever.
Yeah. Yes.
You got me on it. Because I ain't been taking my vitamins like that, but now I'm on board.
Yes.
So I take my vitamins now, and I have noticed that my immune system is kind of like rejuvenated or whatever.
Yeah.
More
well, how you know you feel better?
Well, I'm not as sleepy. I feel a little bit more energetic. Yeah, I feel a lot more lighter taking
Mm.
my vitamins.
Hmm.
I don't know exactly what it does. I ain't no doctor or nothing, but I mean,
Yeah. Well, you can like I mean a quick Google search. I mean vitamin D does so much. I mean it's you can get it from foods, you know, like but I think especially this is just my I'm not no doctor, so this ain't like sound medical advice, but I don't think it's unsound either. But you got to say that. But I think if you're on any type of medication, you should definitely be taking some vitamin D because all medications are depleting your body of something in some type of way. So I definitely take my multivitamins and then I double up on vitamin D. And I'm working out and all this stuff. It's good for your bones. It just does so much that I can't even explain everything that vitamin D does. But our bodies, if you got some melanin in your skin, you don't absorb it as much or as fast. And so, as the weather warms up, ain't nothing that says you can't go outside. Get your behind outside. Go outside
well,
and play.
so in my defense, because I felt like you
Mhm.
were looking at me.
No, I'm just looking. I'm just
No,
messing with people.
but I have made a new hobby since the pandemic.
Hiking.
It's hiking. Yeah, I hike with my friend Chris. Shout out to my friend Chris here who loves to
Mhm.
hike, and we go hiking every other Sunday. So and now that it's warming up, I know Chris is gonna be like, we going hiking. So
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's a new hobby I enjoy doing. So I
Yeah.
encourage y'all to hike. And maybe that's kind of why I didn't do as bad on the ACFT because I do hike sometimes. So I'm doing some form of exercise. It just may not be in the gym, but hiking, playing tennis. Like I'm gonna be playing tennis really good this year and stuff like that. So Colin has a question. Have they lifted the mask mandates in your area? My city's mayor lifted it. Oh no, not over here in Kentucky.
Mm-mm.
Governor Brashear, shout out to him. He ain't lifting that mask mandate. He even, I think he said something. I don't want to quote him, but he said something along the lines like, "I don't even think about a mask mandate until being lifted, um, until we are at herd immunity, and that ain't gonna be till either next year or late this year." So
Mhm.
mm, masks still have to be worn. Okay.
Same here, and I live on base, and you got to wear it. You got to wear your mask when you come in the gate. Yep, you got to wear it when you come in the gate. I mean, you could take it off, and if you're outside, like I don't wear it if I'm outside running.
Hey,
But
Debu. You know, Debu looked at the camera. I was like, okay, that was.
oh, he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's such a big old baby. So yeah, it's we still have to wear our masks out here, and I would wear it anyway. I wear it when I go to the gym unless I'm really working it. Then I'll take it off, or if I'm doing some type of cardio, then I'll take it off. But you still got to be spaced out. Everybody's very good at wiping down all the machines and all that stuff. So, um,
And I feel like if you're stationary, it's okay to have your mask off. It's the more of when you're walking past somebody or when you, like in the gym, like if your mask is off and you have not moved and you're in that one spot, uh,
mhm,
then, the mask off is fine. But like if you're going from one station to the next, you need to lift that mask up because you want to be considerate of others that have theirs off.
right.
So Colin says, well, I'm in Florida. Oh, yeah, he in Jacksonville. I'll be so glad when they turn the state blue.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean,
Florida is a special something.
you already know how I feel about Florida. I don't even want to get into Florida right now.
Do you hear about this radioactive pond that basically first they came out and said it's radioactive, then they said it's not. But come on now. Come on now. Do y'all really believe it's not? Because I Googled it and in 2016, the same thing happened. September 2016. So what they're going to do is they're going to take this radioactive water and they're going to put it down. They're going to drill and basically put that down under the land. And in return, you know what it's going to do? It's going to get in the water supply. Look at that being so just.
Look, he is good to go. Dabu basically saying it's time to get off your live. You've been up there long enough.
I know, right?
Because he was pacing like, okay, I'm gonna let him do his thing. Okay, now it's time for me to go on your lap. So
I mean, we can.
I think the cats remember when you be getting on, so they be like, okay, he on.
I think so, huh?
Colin says, they crazy here. I'm out of here on the first thing smoking.
Where you going, Colin? Where you trying to go to?
Yeah, let me know where you're trying to go. And that's the thing. I be feeling bad about the friends that are in these like hot states. I'd be wanting to see like Colin. Colin came to visit actually me when we were both at Diomi.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
yeah, Colin came to visit me, and I think it was like an hour and a half, 2 hour drive. I think from where he was at. He's trying to go to Arizona.
Mm.
Okay. Um, but yeah, so Colin came to visit me uh, while I was at Diomi.
Look at Dabu's eyes.
Look,
Well, they closed now, but he had them open.
no, he's sleepy. Look, he's already in the. I'm chilling. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Dabu is too. I cannot wait to meet the cats and see that home. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
oh, just let. So, do you want me to go ahead and put out the information about?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, before we end the live, just letting you all know that Brandon and I are not. It's not. We're not calling it a hiatus. We're not calling it that. We're
Yeah,
calling
Everett. That's for Everett.
Everett. Yeah, Everett be calling it hiatuses or cliffhangers and all that. Man,
Mhm.
I'd be like, shut up, Everett. But but no, we are stepping away from the show temporarily, just due to Brandon is going to be going TDY to take care of some EO related stuff, and then I'm going on leave next week myself. So we will be coming back, and we are going to put an event on the page so you can know the next time we're coming back. But I'm gonna say it here, so y'all, because y'all are obviously watching right now. We will be back on the 25th of April. And we're going to announce we are going to let you all know what the topic is. Sometime either by the end of this week or next week, we'll put out, because I know we want to have a graphic for the event. Because what Brandon does, shout out to Brandon, he creates the graphic and the music to go behind it. So for this Biblical show background that you see and all that, he created that, and then the music to go along with it and all that. That's all Brandon. He created that. So shout out to Brandon for that.
Thank you.
So
Andre, you know what I just realized?
what?
We midstream. We probably got to make a correction. We might need to go live on the 24th because guess when I go TDY again? Why am I so busy? I forgot. I go TDY again on the 25th of April to 1 May.
See what I mean, y'all? Life be happening. Like we be on. And I mean, even if it has to come to us going on a day that's not Sunday or Thursday, we make that too. So
we can do that Saturday.
We can do that Saturday. I'll be actually I should come up there to you, or I just go on live from Georgie's house because I'm gonna be on leave and I'll be at Georgie's house. So I may actually do that. I'll be at Georgie's house. I'll make sure I bring all my little equipment with me when I go. But yeah, so correction. I'm down for Saturday. I kind of want to test an earlier time on Saturday.
Okay.
I don't want to do late. I kind of want to do like. I kind of been wanting to go, and I'm saying this to everybody because we on live. But Brandon, like, I kind of want to do like an afternoon, morning live, not a late night. I kind of just want to see, like, so if you go on Saturday, I'm thinking like maybe a noon or an 11 a.m. Just to see, maybe get a different audience, get a different set of people to come in. Because we do go on at night a lot, which is, we got a good amount of people that have come in and out of the chat and of the live. But yeah, I kind of want to do that, but we can talk more about that offline, but the 24th we'll be back. I'm down for the 24th, which is a Saturday. So I already have a topic. I'm not going to announce that. We're going to put it in the event, and Brandon's going to do his graphic thing and all that stuff, and we will be promoting that show on the for the 24th in the coming weeks. So that is when we'll be back. We're still going to be posting on the Biblical Show. Just want to put that out there. We're going to be posting quotes and messages and all that. We're not disappearing. It's just you won't see us live until the 24th, and you will see the event soon.
Yeah. That sounds great. And if you want to be a guest, like Colin, if you ever want to come on, we had Starsha on. She could come on again. If you ever want to be a guest on a pop up or just come on and chat with us, we're all down for that too. So just let us know. We're praying for everybody, and we hope that you're blessed by what we're doing here. We thank you for your support. And thank you for following us. And please share the video because we just want to reach as many people as possible. It's not about necessarily the likes or the shares, but we think that we have good things to say and we want people to hear them.
So. Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up guests coming on. Like, yeah, Colin, let me know. Yeah, we definitely bring you on. And Colin likes to talk, so and see, Colin said he'd love to. So Colin is a talker. He knows it, so he would definitely fit as a guest on the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, Colin, I'll get with you offline for you to come on, and it may it'll probably be in May because it seems like Brandon and I are booked because I'm even booked that week that you go TDY again because I'll be in that Game Changer training.
Oh yeah,
on too. So yeah. You may see us on the 24th of April, and then you won't see us again until like the second week of May, because there's a lot of moving pieces for.
Look what he said.
Colin said I won't talk too much though. Okay, we're gonna see when we bring you on. We're gonna see. Okay, yeah. But if you don't have do you have anything else before we go?
I really don't. You can message us on our Facebook page. We're on Instagram. If you look at Biblitical, I mean, we everywhere. I'm like, do we need a Twitter too? We everywhere. So you can find us on Instagram. We're starting to post more on our page, things that are designed to uplift and edify. So, you can share any of our posts and we'd appreciate it. And join us in the comments. If something touches you or you have a feeling or perspective on something, then, just hit the comments with us.
Yeah, and we have an email address as well, BibLiticalShow@gmail.com. So if you, Brandon has said this before, if you want to send us your prayer request or you want to tell us a story and you want it to be shared with the show, but anonymously, we can do that. But yeah, anything, we have an email address and we are on Instagram. So you can follow us on there @Biblitical. And yeah, I don't have anything else. I guess we can go because Dabu get off live.
Right. All right. Well, y'all be blessed, and we'll see y'all again soon.
All right.